So I'm going to really show you today is some of our field mobility apps and how those pair together as good application pairings. But as normally happens, things change a little bit because Jack did some mention stuff this morning about how easy apps are to build now and how they're disposable and throwaway. So I thought I'd just build an app for you first and then see if I can get through my presentation. So here's my ArcGIS Online organization, and here I have open web map. So Stacy, start a timer on me, see how long it takes me to build your disposable app. So in our living atlas here is where we've got all these different Esri curated layers. I'm just going to pick something like active fires, so we can look at active fires in the US right now. So I'll add that layer to my map, and we've now got active fires. I can click on each one of these, get the information, the NIFC information on these fires and all the information about it. I can just save this map, and now I'm going to build an app out of this. So I hit the share button, and this gives me the ability now to create a web app. We come with all these different templates that are configurable, and we can use a multitude of templates here, including story maps, edit maps, other maps. I'm going to use Web App Builder, and I'll just give it a name, and I can get started building a web app. So this sort of wraps it up into this Web App Builder experience, and Jack had mentioned this morning widgets. So widgets are functionality. So I know that I want this as a mobile app. So as a mobile app, I like this particular theme right here because it gives nice big buttons at the bottom for your thumb to use on a phone. I've got widgets, and I've got a lot of different widgets to choose from, which I can add capability to the map. For simplicity, we'll just add the base map widget, which enables the user to change base maps. We hit OK on this and add our base maps. So now I've got three widgets at the bottom. I've got a base map widget, I've got a layers widget, and I've got a legend widget. And you can add as much different functionalities and sharing and make this really, really pretty. In preview, let's take a look at what this app would actually look like. So here's how this app would look on this mobile device. I can now quickly change over here, and I can change it to see what it looked like on an iPhone. Once I do that, I've now got a full functioning app right in here of my wirefires inside an iPhone. And there it is. I can do everything I need. I can just now hit launch and publish, and to publish this to my ArcGIS Online organization. If I made it public, all you guys could consume this right now on your phones as an app. So that's really how quick and easy it is to create an app. How long? 2 minutes, not too bad. So they are truly disposable. So I'm going to show you today some of our field apps. We've got Collector for ArcGIS, which is an excellent tool for doing a lot of field data collection, points, lines, and polygons. We also have Survey123 for doing online field collection as well, which is more of a form-based product, so we can present a form to the person in the field, very intuitive to use. I've got something that wraps it together called Workforce to actually manage assignments, where you're going to put people, what they're going to do, track their location, track their progress of the job, and that actually links directly in interfaces with both Collector and Survey123. And then lastly, if you pair some of these up, Workforce by itself is great. So is Collector, so is Survey. But you pair them up with some of our other apps that we have out there, like Operations Dashboard. Now you've actually got metrics and information coming in. So I've got my field workers out in the field, I'm tracking them, they're collecting data, and I can actually pull this into an Operations Dashboard and actually take a look at it. So let's just switch over really quick to my iPad right here and take a look at some of these apps. So I've got Collector. In this case, this was a weed abatement project right here. So these are parcels, and the parcels are just colored by have they been inspected, have they passed, they failed. And it's very map-driven. So one of the big things about Collector is it's map-driven, but it also completely supports your enterprise backend. So whether you've got these parcels sitting in a SQL database or wherever they are and they're being published out, you've got the sort of enterprise architecture on the back end. So it might be related tables and all these complex workflows. Because Collector just supports them, the web map, and it brings the web map in, it ties right back into your enterprise GIS. So if I'm sent out to do a collection or maybe inspect one of these parcels right here, I can look at the parcel details, I can go in and edit it, I can change the status of this, and whether it's compliant, non-compliant. And of course, this is just a demonstrative schema. The schema can be your own and built out very easily in the web map. And then we can update the status of it. So this is real time in the field. Collector's offline, so I can take that out into a wilderness environment or austere environment and still work out there in an offline mode. This was used extensively for damage assessment. CAL FIRE uses it a lot for their damage assessment workflows. They take it offline, also because it keeps track of you. If you have requirements on, say, a damage assessment that the perimeter needs to be checked 360, it's dropping breadcrumbs around the perimeter for you, so you can actually verify that not only were the photos taken, but the person actually did the 360 around there. So you've got other basic tools in here. You've got measuring tools, sharing tools. I don't really have a lot of time to go into all the tool sets today, but either myself or my colleagues around from Esri can help at the booth over there. So that's sort of one style. We can add and edit, but it gives us all the context on the map. It's a very map-centric data collection. If I switch over here to Survey and Survey 123, Survey 123 is a very form-based collection method. So I've got multiple form templates on this one machine. I can download as many of these templates as I need, and they can be shared throughout your organization. So if I look at the same sort of the defensible space workflow, in here it's much more of a form-based. This is also designed complete to be work offline, but it's got some smart forms built in, so I can choose what kind of inspection I'm doing. These are all very, very customizable, either on a web interface or even in Excel you can use these. I can take and add a photograph to this, so we can take a photograph of our audience here, we can capture the image, add that, and at the bottom I can even sign. So if I was to have a homeowner and they were home and it's like, you've seen you've been inspected, you need to do some compliance, and they can, okay, you can sign it. And then you can submit this in here. So this is a send now or send later. So if you're working offline, completely no internet, you just collect them on the device and then you push them up later when you're done. This one here, we're online, we can push that in. So these are just two tools for data collection, and they're both really easy to use. But the nice thing here is I've got multiple surveys on here. So if I needed to do a debris report or maybe a homeless activity or a pre-event survey, I can have all these on one device. Just easily switch in and out whatever it is that I need. And so people can have this available and they'll use it more, constantly use it throughout their workday. So when big bad event comes, they're familiar with using Survey 123. The new form you might give them might be a FEMA preliminary damage assessment, or it might be a windshield damage assessment. But you don't need them to learn during the event. You want them to be using a device and the technology all the time so it ingrains. So I can get more surveys right here just by clicking download surveys. And these are the different surveys that I have available to me in the organization. These are shared on a per person or an identity basis. So the surveys that a chief might have, or the surveys that a captain might have, or someone in the wildland community might have, might be different depending on their identity, depending what access they have within here. So if I need a drug reporter or any of these, I can just hit download, and I can just download those surveys right now to my machine, store them locally, and now I've got a new survey. Very easy to create, very easy to use. The last one here is Workforce, and before I sort of show you the app, I'm going to go back to my laptop and just give you a quick tour. So, actually, I'll give you a tour of Survey here. So this is Survey 123. So these are some of the collections that I've just done. So you can see in this defensible space, I've got 5 records in here. This just is built on the back end automatically. I can click and open and look at this, and I can take a look at the data and analyze the data in real time as it comes in without building a dashboard, without building any other products. It just aggregates everything that's going on from my data for me and gives me an overview and a dashboard. So I can take a look at the dashboard. I can take a look at the data itself right inside the survey, and this would be real time. As it's collecting, it'll just be updating. I can take a look at the design and take a look at the form. So this is that form you just saw on my iPad, And if I need to add or modify it, I can just grab objects and bring them in, and I can add a new drop-down and add questions to this. So very simple to build. Doesn't take a GIS specialist, doesn't take a code head or anyone to get under the covers to do this. Anyone can build some of these. In fact, IAFC was using these during hurricanes last year and actually built these forms and showed people there on the phone how to use it while they're driving down to actually assist some of the task forces. So let me find my workforce. And Workforce will load my workforce project. So I've got two. I've got one just to show you real quick, and then I've got defensible space one. So within here, if I open this project, it gives me the ability to create assignments and assignment types, assign them to workers, track those workers, track their workload and what they've done. So right in here, I've got assignments, and I've got workers. So I can change the status on each of these and see if I'm working on a break. I'll just change my project on my tablet here. And you'll see that I'll open up my project, I'll change my status, and it's only tracking me while I'm working, not while I'm not working. So it should just take a second to change. There we go. So now I'm in working status. All I did was open the project. I can find out where I am by clicking on me, and there you go. That's us right here. And I've got assignments. So I can create all sorts of assignments. I can use just a point. I can find an assignment here, and I can assign some of those polygons that I showed you earlier. I could click on a specific polygon if there was one place I wanted to create an assignment right here, pick the type, and the type are completely customized where you can call them and change them any way you want, and I will show you that in a moment. I'm going to assign it to myself as a medium priority and a due date. And then I can create that assignment. So that's actually now assigning that to me on my device right here. We can go back and look at the assignments. So now on my tablet, I've actually got my assignments right here. There it is, my reinspection that I just added, popped onto my iPad. I can open that up, take a look at the assignment, what it was and where it is. I can start the assignment. But I can also link it directly, say these apps work in pairs. So this one I link to my Collector app. So when I collect it, I can automatically launch Collector, and it identifies that parcel for me and where it is. So I can now bounce between, I can finish the collection right here, so I can collect here, I can do my inspection, whatever it is, non-compliant again, and then submit these as updated. And when I'm done with this, I can pop back to Workforce and be finished with my assignment. And now my assignment is finished and submitted. If I come back into my PC, my assignment will be done right in here. So it's a very easy way of creating assignments, assigning to people, dispatching, having accountability. This also tracks you as well, leaves both a breadcrumb and a current last position. I go back into the projects. I'll give you a little hint into the back end of how this works. So under the configure right here, you can see that I've got these maps associated with it. I've got a dispatch map and a workers map, and they can be completely different if you need to provide different context or different layers. My assignment types, so these are the ones that I put in. I can add a new assignment type, and that'll just add that to the project. For each of these as well, I can choose under my advanced if I want to integrate it with some of the apps. So I showed you survey and how easy it was to have multiple surveys. I can associate a survey form with each type of assignment. So as I go through here, I've got weed abatement inspection is integrated with the dispensable space infractions. I can add another one. It'll look for all the different apps in my organization, and I can specifically assign that to an assignment type. So as the person gets to their assignment, they already have the tools that they need to do the job and do the inspection. Reporting all these up, we've got some of these great tools built into Survey 123. I showed you here on the back end, not just the design, but the overview, the data, and the analytics. But one of our other tools that is also incredibly powerful is our operations dashboard. So Operations Dashboard has been around for a while, but it recently went through a whole redesign. So now it is no longer a separate application you need to install on a machine. It's all browser-based. So what this does is I've got my map, and I've got the information on my map. But that doesn't provide me metrics. It's really difficult to make a decision from what's on the map. So using, again, the concept of elements or widgets, I can pull the data from the map. So top left here, I have a couple of indicators. These indicators are telling me inspections from this list right here, which is interactive, and I can see where the worker are and what the jobs they've done. I can click on them and actually take a look at all the information. This is totally real time. That's a picture from my office in the front there. This is a weed that needs abating. So I've got lists of data. I can do elements right here. I've got my workers, and where are my workers, and what are they doing? The workers active, inactive. I can add charts to this. I've got the number of assignments, the number that are compliant, the number of non-compliant, and the current assignments that are being taken place. As you've got people in the field that are collecting data, being tracked, using Workforce, using Survey 123, it becomes real time. These are so easy to create and use that you don't need one, and everyone only gets one. The chief is going to probably need a different view than the captain. So you can have these and just do a save as on each one of these and just modify in and out widgets. As easy as it is to do, behind each one of these little elements is a configuration tab. So in this case, I took my workers. I'm just only limiting it to people that are working. I could change that status to not working workers. And you can see it's sort of interactive. As I'm designing, I'm building. What does it look like? Do I want to count statistics, features, indicators? These are nice. I like these little icons that they put in, and it makes it really easy. You've got all these out of the box, so I can choose different icons and actually bring my dashboard to life a little bit, right? If it's going to be that way, I think I'd probably want to do a down. But they're super simple to configure, but really, really powerful for visioning and for getting a vision for the data, and it not being data, but it being information. So if I go back to my tablet here, I've got my workforce assignments. My assignments are all in here listed. I've got a to-do list. I can look at my completed assignments, where they were, and what I've done. If I get assigned an assignment that is urgent, it'll actually pop up and request and force me to accept the assignment, so the dispatcher knows that it's been done. So this isn't dispatch in the sense of CAD or sort of critical dispatch. This is sort of work assignments. What do you have to do? So home safety inspections. How do I assign a whole street of home safety inspections to a particular station? So we can do that right here in Workforce. If I go back to my overview of my project, let me see. Actually, let me just change and open the Defensible Space project. So I've got a lot of different polygons in here. These are just the parcels that came up. Pop back to my machine. So let's find some of these. If I wanted to assign a whole section, I can just draw right around them. Here they are. I can select them all, and now I can create assignment for each one of those. So that can now be directly assigned to a group or a person to take an action upon those. How am I doing on time, Mike? Okay. So there you go. I just want to give you a quick overview of them. I didn't have a lot of time to get into depth on any of those, but I'll be available outside. Stacy's also available to answer questions on that, and any of us in Esri kind of know these products. So please let us know if you have questions.
John. Any questions for John before he clears up? You wait for that microphone so we can get you on the video.
That's I love the dashboard concept. Can that be turned into more of a response and see like CAD on one time, look at response times on the bottom, and look at units and where they are.
So if you come out,
According to CAD?
yeah, if you come out to the little Esri stand over there, we actually have that view up. So it's pulling CAD data in, and it's giving all the different response time metrics. You can filter that by station, by area, by district, and it automatically just configures it itself and does the calculations from that. So the concept of the dashboard is any data that you have can be brought in. You can pull the metrics out of any type of data.
Excellent. Any more questions for John? All right, John, again, thank you very much.
Thank you.